Hi, it's Jason Perico for Bianchi Honda, suggesting you start your new year with a new Honda. Start by leasing America's best-selling SUV, the 2016 Honda CR-V EX all-wheel drive with standard features including moonroof, heated seats, touchscreen display, and more for only $299 a month with no money down. Lease Erie's favorite, the 2016 CR-V EX all-wheel drive for an amazing $299 a month here at Bianchi Honda.
It's Happy Monday, happy Gannon Lady Nights Coaches Show. Jim Brunelli now here live in the flesh. Coach, how are you, buddy?
Hey, doing real well. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
I think last time we talked, it was prior to these two games, and I don't know how much it had to do with it, but I told you, I'll talk to you on Monday after 2 wins.
That's right.
And here we are.
That's right.
And you got to feel a little better.
No, absolutely. You sent me a text. Because I wasn't here last week. You had my assistant, Coach Paris, who did. Yeah, she did a great job. But yeah, that was the text, and you know we had to deliver. So I made sure our team knew that and put them on the line when they didn't.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm
just
here
kidding.
for.
Yeah. No, any type of motivation, we'll take it.
No, but you know it was clear that things were starting to work. We'll go back since I haven't had you for 2 weeks. Let's go back because you had a big win against Slippery Rock and then one against IUP. You split those. The IUP game ended up being really close.
Yeah.
But I just want to know from you how important the next game becomes after splitting those two, because you can go up or you can go down.
Yeah.
After a game against IUP.
No, you're exactly right. You know, and we got a real nice win against a real tough win against Slippery Rock, and they're a good ball team. They have a lot of different options on their team, and then you go against a really, really good team in IUP, and that was back and forth, and we really put together a really good game for them and game plan for them, and just to see it, you know, we had some turnovers late and missed some things here and there, and then, you know, like the way our season's been going, you know, you take that dip and you're wondering how the mental side of the team is, but they bounce back. You know, UPJ, we were down a man with a discipline situation, and the lady stepped up. Usually that's what happens. You hope and pray that's what happens when, you know, someone gets hurt or someone's not playing. You hope that your team steps up, and they did just that. Against UPJ, we were down a person in our rotation that's normally in there, and we had people step up. The people that played significant minutes, 9 or more, everybody scored. You know, and we had a really balanced attack against UPJ. And that was, we set a career, I think we set a season high 19 assists in that game to 16 turnovers. So when you're doing that, you know, when you're not giving them extra possessions, things work out for you.
Well, and that's the difference, because there have been games that you've been really close to even turnovers to assists, but because there were more turnovers, that ended up making the difference in the game. So Absolutely. It looks like in this one, you're right on about the turnovers, that number being the X factor, because as you said, it was a season high 19 assists. 16 turnovers, you'll take 16 if it means you win by 5.
Exactly. No, we'll take that in a heartbeat. And like I said, in some of our other games, the turnovers, they weren't even close. You know, you're talking about, you know, 26, 27, and to maybe 10 assists. You know, 27 turnovers to 10 assists. You're not even close there. So you're giving the teams more opportunities to score. So, but the ladies did a great job being a man down, and we shot the ball real well, especially in the first half. We kind of dipped a little bit in the second half, but overall against UPJ, we shot the ball really well. We gave up way too many offensive rebounds, but that's just because they were down and they were attacking the rim and really going after it. But still, there's no excuse for going to box out. It really doesn't take, you know, a ton of athleticism to turn around and put a body on somebody. And so we learned from that, taking and carrying it over into Saturday's game at Seton Hill, which is another tough place to play. But the ladies did that, and we rebounded really well from that, no pun intended, and we out-rebounded them as well. So another balanced attack, and another situation where we didn't turn the ball over that many times. We had 13 assists, 13 turnovers, and we just shot the ball extremely well. When you can shoot, you know, I think our final totals were 54 from the field, 48 from the three-point line, and 75 from the free throw line. There's not too many coaches in the country that would say, I think we could do better than that.
Right. You got to take it.
Yeah, exactly.
So are you seeing indicators in practice that things are starting to click as far as, I'm thinking of guards in terms of those passes that had you shaking your head, and then in the interior, it seems Lanise has been really solid underneath at least, but you're getting better interior play. I know those were two things we talked about.
Yeah, those have been up and downs. In the last game we played against, watching our film from the first game when Seton Hill beat us here, and I think it ended up being by 20. We had our combined posts, all our posts that played were combined 6 of 20. And you're doing that from probably 6-8 feet in. So that's not real good. But in the weeks since then, our team has made a conscious effort to invest in the team. And what I mean by that is players are making time to come in and get extra shots up. Players are making time to come in and watch film, seeing those passes that we talked about that they thought were open, and we're sitting back here scratching our head like, what were you? So we got to ask them those questions. And anytime, I always think film, I learned a long time ago from a coach, and I know I'm not using proper English here, but he didn't when he said it to me, film don't lie. Film don't lie, and you can sit there and say, oh no, I was there. But when you rewind it and you put that little red beam on the person that said that they were there in help side or doing that, and they're not, it's a really good helping tool. And so our kids have been able to do that. And then, we challenged our players. We challenged them by position about what we need from them rebounding wise, both guards and posts. We've had guards that are not getting as many rebounds as they should. We've had some post players that play 25, 30 minutes getting 1 or 2 rebounds. You can't do that. Right. That can't happen. You're in there, you're close to the basket. There is no reason that you can't give yourself a goal, and that's what we've done. Hey, you need to get 2 rebounds a quarter, 3 rebounds a quarter. When at the end of the night, that could be 8 rebounds. That's not that many.
Right.
But that's enough. That might give us that extra little bit to help us. That might be 1 offensive rebound and 7 defensive. That's great. But go after the ball. And what we talk to them a lot about is how many times, the more rebounds you go after, the better opportunity you have of getting them. If you only go after 3 or 4 rebounds a game, you may only get 1 or 2. 1 at best.
Right.
If you go after 10, 11 rebounds, you might get 5. So the more you go after, the better opportunity. So we've really challenged the team in that sense, and they've taken to it. I think they like that idea of coming together and say, hey, guards, we need to limit our turnovers. We need to grab rebounds. We need to go after, especially on the defensive end, go get them. I'm all big about, hey, let's cut out the middleman. If we don't have our post go get the ball to pass it to our point guard when our 1 or 2 can go and get the rebound themselves and start the break, hey, I'm fine with that.
Absolutely. 65-60 was the final score against UPJ. We can move on from this, but I wanted to talk about down the stretch because and this is something that you have to find yourself in this position in order to coach through it, in order to commit the memory what to do, but having a lead late.
Yeah.
They did some really great things in terms of improvising, finding the open shooter, but then at the same time there were a couple plays late where you saw those errant passes. Yeah. So as a coach, you go into film and you show them all that and you go, this is what we do the next time we find ourselves in this position, and this is all part of starting a winning mindset, winning culture, right? Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And you also try to do it there in the game. There's sometimes, there was a couple plays which we were talking about. We had one where we made the extra pass to Nikolikov in the corner and she knocked down a 3. That's
Beautiful
exactly
3.
What I was thinking of.
And then the next time we tried to force something, but then 2 plays later, we did the same thing and found Maggie Mitchell and got it down. So we talked to him about that. Hey, look, you just had Nicole. Now you try to do something. Hey, let's make that extra pass. We don't have to force it. There's a lot of time. I think a lot of kids panic when that shot clock's winding down. Well, when there's 6 seconds on the shot clock, that's an eternity. Mm-hmm. And we practice that. We practice late game situation. We practice scenarios, different things like that. We don't do it a whole bunch, but there for a while we were doing it. Over Christmas break, we were doing it almost every practice, just to try to put ourselves in that situation. If we get in it, we'll know it. Now, you can simulate anything you want in practice,
right,
but there's nobody there. There's no fans. There's that pressure of hitting that shot, but you want to try to do that. But then in film, that's exactly it. Hey, we share the ball. look what happens when we share the ball. Look what happens when we make that extra pass. And in some cases, it was an extra pass to an extra pass. Because that one with when Nicole was in the corner, we made 2 great passes where probably the person up top after the first pass had a shot, but she then kicked it for another look. And that's just great teamwork.
Right.
And that's what you want. That's what you want to foster, is that great teamwork, and you hope that things go well after that.
Moving on to Seton Hill, an 81-71 victory. I used the quote jokingly before you got here that for Major League,
Okay.
that's 2 straight. 1 more, and that's a win streak.
That's right.
It has happened before.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's
but
right.
in all seriousness, I mean, you've got now something going for you. You got motivation. As we said, they reacted really well to the IUP loss, a close one that was within reach. But that's among the class of this league. So I mean, that I thought we learned a lot from that. Going into Seton Hill, 81-70. Heck, it's not every day you put up 80 points.
No, you're right. We've touched 80 a couple times this year, and usually when we do, they've been in wins. And that was just a great game. The ladies, I think you get to see a little glimpse of the future and what can happen. But this is what we've been seeing all year. And I know our record doesn't show it, but this is stuff that we've been seeing as coaches.
You've been saying it all year.
Every practice, we've seen glimpses, and then you put it together. And that's what you have. You have an explosion from Maggie Mitchell, who was named PSAC West Player of the Week, which she definitely deserves. I've been in coaching a long time. It'll be 20 years next year that I've been at the college level, and not 19 of it. And I'll tell you what, I'm trying to think back, and I've coached some. I've had the privilege and the honor to coach some very good players. Some of them I've recruited. Some of them I've inherited. And, man, I'll tell you what, I don't know if I've ever seen a performance like Maggie, and it's been a long time. I forget what she had at the half. I think she had 24 at the half, but she was 6 of 6 from the three-point line. She didn't miss that entire. And as the game's going on, I'm like, okay, that's 3 for 3. Okay, I'm trying not to. I'm not saying it out loud to anybody, but I'm walking back and forth. I'm saying, okay, that's 3 for 3. Okay, that's 4 for 4. Then I'm like, after the first 2, I'm like, well, maybe I should start running some plays for her. You know what I mean? And just joking around. But then we got her the ball a little bit. We ran a couple things for her, and she got some even better looks. But her teammates were finding her as well. They made some extra passes. They drove and they drew a couple players and kicked out. And our post players were getting double teamed, and it was nice. We knew they were going to send some help, and our post players kicked the ball out and had some good looks. And then there were some that was just classic Maggie Mitchell. We call a play. She sees a read, stops, pops. It's a 3. And they had trouble defending some of that. But when you have a balanced attack, when you have Lanice in there grabbing 13 boards and putting, she had a great first half. And then we kind of come out, I was like, I was going to grab the official and say, hey, let's not take a halftime. We'll play it right here. Because I didn't want to go into the locker room. And as you see, some of us, we left a little bit of our game in the locker room. And I tried to get in there. I told the staff when we were walking down the steps, I'm going to mention a few things. We're going to do some adjustments, and we're going to get back on that court because we were playing really well. Yeah, I mean, we went into halftime shooting 64% from the field, 57% from the three-point line, and 100% from the free throw line. So coming out, we knew they were going to make a run. I told that to them in the locker room. Look, how are they going to do it? They're going to try to press us. They're going to try to attack us. And they did just that. And they're a good ball team, and they're especially a good ball team at home. But we made them frustrated. Our kids stepped up, rose to the challenge. I think they cut it to 6 at one point. At one point, we were up 20. They cut it to 6, and then they didn't get any closer than that. And that was just a testament to the ladies, just that will. We talked about it from the first radio show to now. They have that no-quit mentality, and I think we called a timeout. We said, hey, look, this is our game. You've worked too hard for it. I made a comment to the staff. I said, man, we're being tentative right now. We got to start attacking. It's like that whole saying, well, are you playing to win or are you playing not to lose? Because I think there's a difference there.
Yeah.
And I think when you're playing not to lose, you're playing tentative. You're holding onto the ball. You're maybe not making the decisions you should. Whereas when you're playing the win, you're attacking. You're in attack mode. And that's what we wanted to do, and we got the ball inside. But we had a great performance, another great performance from Chelsea Rourke. Haley Tavis come off the bench. her sister Lauren hit a big 3 to put us back up 9 at one point, and it was just nice to see the ladies come together, and we had 13 assists, 13 turnovers. And I kick myself because I think in the last minute we probably turned the ball over at least 2 times. So we would have had another more assists than turnovers, but they pressured us, and again we were playing tentative instead of catching and go. I had to remind the kids, hey, look, they're down, they're going to foul you. You're our best free throw shooter. Why are you passing the ball? They're going to foul you. Just wait a second. Dribble, get it, go dribble. They're going to foul you. So, and that's what we did. And, down the stretch, we hit some free throws, and Lenise played big. We ended up subbing her out, subbing her back in because we knew they were going to foul. We got her the ball. She steps to the free throw line, knocks down 2 free throws.
It seems pretty evident as we talk with Coach Jim Brunelli, head coach of the Gannon Lady Knights. But, generally when a coach comes in the beginning of the season, you get their outlook on a team. And as the season unfolds, you know whether or not they truly had a pulse on what was going to happen. It's clear that you do. The other thing is, it's clear that they're taking these, I said this last week to Coach Amanda Paris, it's clear that they're taking everything in stride. They're committing this to memory, and they are learning. You can go the opposite way. I mean, it can go in one ear and out the other, and maybe not even in one. It seems that your team is reacting well to the way you coach this year.
They are, and that's it's. I put a lot on the players. I do. We all do. But when you have a young team, you're kind of molding them. Yeah. And that, we threw a lot of them into the fire, so to speak. We have 2 freshmen starting and different things like that, and a lot of freshmen getting some playing time and a lot of young kids. Like I say, young kids. I mean, we have, at times we'll start 2 sophomores. The last couple of games we start a freshman, 2 sophomores, and a junior and a senior. So you're hoping that each time they go out, it's just logged in the old memory banks. That's what you're hoping. And, there early on, we were hitting that little rut where, with this young team, we're like, man, they're not even remembering plays. What's going on? So we had to cut back, took some plays out of the playbook, which I've never done in my career. And then now it's time, we're starting to add them back a little bit. Now they're starting to get it. They're starting to retain it. They're starting to do it. And that's just a credit to them. They're coming in, like I said, they're wanting to do the extra. You can't just, and we call that investing. You can't just be a basketball player from 6:30 to 8:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then play the games. You can't do that. It's like in school. That's what I asked those guys a month ago. I'm like, what do you do for your math class? Well, I have about 3 hours of homework. Okay. You do it, right? Well, what do you do for your Spanish class? I have about an hour, 2 hours. It's the same for basketball. You can't just go to practice and that's it.
Right.
If you want to be good at something, it's about putting the time in, we call it putting the reps. Repetition is not a dirty word. A lot of kids growing up think that that's a bad word, but it's a great word. That's how you get good at something, and it's proper reps.
Do you have that hung up around the facilities or something? I hear that from your entire staff.
That's it. I mean, Coach Paris was in here, and it's been in her here for her for 4 years. You know what I mean? And she understands that. And there's little key phrases that we say that she picks up on, that she tries to ingrain into those guys. But give a lot of credit. My staff is amazing. John Ginn, Amanda Paris, Coach Kelsey Duggar, our student assistant. They all put in time. They all put in work. And then I think the ladies are starting to see that, and they put in time as well. They don't want to disappoint. They don't want to disappoint. They know the hours that those guys, and we're not doing it to get paid. It's part of our job. That's what we get paid to do. But when you're not paying attention to the scouting report, when you're not paying attention to the plays that we draw up for you, they're not chicken scratched and, they're done professionally. Right. All you got to do is read them and look at them. And but it's about investment. You got to invest. You got to invest in your team. I think the ladies know that as the coaches, we are invested in them. We only want the absolute best for them, and they see that. They see that, and I'm really proud of them. Like I said, with the record we have, I've had better records where teams quit, where individuals quit, where they stop playing. So with a team that isn't having all the wins that they should have, it's easy for them. I told that to one of the reporters the other night. They were at the game. I'm like, with a generation that we have coming up, where if something doesn't go the right way, stop. They
true.
they never heard of the saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. No, when the going gets tough, a lot of people quit.
And the amazing thing is not just in basketball, but in all walks of life, the going doesn't necessarily get harder. It's just you have to make the decision to keep going as opposed to quit.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Like video. Okay, this is a complete aside.
Right.
But I play video games.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, not so inclined.
Right.
She won't put in the time getting beat at the beginning to become good at it, which I get.
Right.
Because there's things that I don't put the time into that I
Right.
might get better at if I would.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of, do I want to continue or quit? And it seems your players are continuing.
Yeah, they are, and they're doing an amazing job at it. And it's it's about a lot of times it's just hanging on a little bit longer. A lot of people quit just before that breaking point, where things get, the light bulb comes on, things get easier, as they say, because we talk about, hey, the harder you work, the easier it gets. The harder you work, the easier it gets. And but these ladies have put in the time. I'm proud of them. And like I said, this is a group that I absolutely love. Our family, our circle that we have. I look around. I'm proud of each and every one of them. And like I said, these last couple wins, it's a total team effort. We're watching film, and I brought up this to one of our players, Elise. I'm like, she hasn't gotten the minutes that she wanted, and we've talked about that. But the one thing when I'm watching film at the end, she's up cheering. There's a big play, she's up cheering, and you gotta love that. That's part of being that team. You might not, when you get your chance, you gotta be ready. But when you don't, man, you gotta be putting it in, and she's all in. She's all in. We have others like that, but I just bring her up because when you're watching that film and you're seeing a great pass that leads to a great shot, and she jumps off the bench and she's cheering, that's great stuff, and that's what we want more of.
Clearly a team effort, clearly buy-in going on there, and when you come together as a team, it's just going to make everything easier. Your remaining games, they aren't easy.
No.
Next one's at Cal, that'll be tough.
Yep.
At Clarion, tough, winnable. Edinburgh's been great this year. Slippery Rock, you know the story on them.
Yep.
And then you finish things off with Hearst, so at least the schedule makers did you that favor.
Yeah, right. But, senior night. No, there's
a lot you can take from these finals.
Absolutely. And this is one of the toughest conferences, and our side is probably hands down one of the toughest. The West side is there's some really, really good teams. There's some really, really good players. And it's going to be an honor to go against some of these teams that there's some of our players that only have so many games left. And it's our job as coaches and the players' job is to go out and put everything on the line for those players that at the end of this season they hang them up, probably for the rest of their life, and that's a tough thing to handle. And I know Lanice is really determined, and her practices the last 2 weeks, they're an indication of what she's been doing. She's coming in and she's just dominating, and we're excited to go down and play Cal. Just watching film of them, they've gotten even better. But we're going to have fun, and we're going to go play hard, and we'll see, where the chips fall.
Good stuff. He is head coach of the Gannon Lady Knights, Jim Brunelli, coming off 2 wins, going into Cal, and then this weekend it'll be at Clarion. So a couple road games to test what you got, but winners of 3 of the last 4, and the loss again was to IUP. So we're definitely in a different position talking now than we were 2 months ago.
Absolutely. No, we're excited. We know how many games we have left, and we're just taking them one game at a time. And I appreciate the ladies coming in and working hard, and we'll go and put forth the effort we need to.
Good stuff, Jim Brunelli. Thanks so much.